So right now I'm on the way to the post office to ship off a Gucci bag that I sold. I got this bag a few months ago before all the COVID stuff really started, before I even knew what was going on. I found out an estate sale had a few luxury bags, and I dropped everything and ran out to this estate sale really far from my house. So I drove out to this estate sale thinking that the bags would be gone already, and they had everything near the front. They had this Gucci bag that I'll show you. They had a Prada bag. I don't know a ton about Prada designs, but I do know I'm not a huge fan of the majority of what Prada makes, because I don't think it's wise to invest in designer nylon. That's just my opinion. I don't think a lot of their designs are revolutionary by any means. I like their clothing a lot better than their bag designs. But nonetheless, I was still kind of considering getting this Prada bag just for myself. But at the end of the day, like, I picked it up and walked around with it, and at the end of the day, I wasn't feeling it. My heart wasn't in it. They also had this Louis bag that really they just wanted market value for, so I wasn't going to be able to flip it for anything. I definitely didn't want to keep it. It's a Louis design that I don't really like. And then there was this Gucci bag. I hadn't seen this design before. I'd seen the print, I'd seen the material before, but I hadn't seen it on a tote that big before, and it was this lovely metallic finish on the leather. I think it used to be a lot more metallic when maybe the person first bought it. And they had it at $350, and I figured most Gucci designs, unless the bag is just completely thrashed, I should be able to make something on it. I couldn't really find a ton of information online about the bag, just, you know, at that time when I was at the sale, walking around the house, looking on my phone, trying to find it. I couldn't really. So I took a gamble on it, and I walked up to the person who was running everything. I said, hey, would you take $300 for it? And they looked at the owner, and the owner said, nodded. And so yeah, they gave me this bag for $300. And I was super excited because it was my second Gucci item. My first one is the belt that everyone has. But the only thing about it, and one of the reasons I talked them down, is because the bottom corners were worn down. And so I figured, even if because I didn't know anything about reselling luxury at that point, and I'm still just a novice, but I figured I would take it to a consignment place and see if they would take it. And I tried to, and because of, even though the rest of the bag was pristine, because of the damage on the corners, on the bottom corners of the bag, they wouldn't take it. So I figured I'm better off just selling it on eBay. I mean, that's what I do. I sell online. I know how to do that. That I'm pretty much an expert on, I think. So I did find this bag. I found a couple of older listings for this bag, and it had sold. So I don't know what they sold for, but I know they retailed at like $14 something, $14.95, $13.95, something like that. And so I put it on eBay for like $8 something, and then I put it on a setting so that it would gradually lower the price every, you know, few weeks or a couple weeks. And also, anytime someone would favorite it, add it to their watch list, I would send them an offer, and I would send them an offer of $650 is like the lowest I wanted to go on it. And it didn't have a ton of traffic. Let me back up. So when I did research on this bag, I found out it was a outlet item. It was an outlet item. And the reason you know that is because on the tag, you'll see, if you see a G with a circle in it, this is not an indication of a fake bag. It's just something that they made specifically for outlets, so you wouldn't find it in their flagship stores. I did not know this upon buying it. If I did, I probably would have talked them down another $50. I would have offered them $250 for it. But I'm not mad, because I just sold this bag for $650, which is like 117% profit. I'm cool with that. It's not $850, but you know, that's a pretty good profit for my first designer bag to flip. So it took, I don't actually remember when I listed it, but I would say it's probably been like 2 months since I had it up. I put it on eBay, I put it on Depop and Mercari. I can't remember if I put it on OfferUp or any of those other ones, but yeah, I was super surprised that someone finally pulled the trigger and bought it on eBay. I did have 1 or 2 people that were messaging me, and we're trying to put the money together. It's tough times for everyone right now with all the shutdowns, so I'm very surprised that people are still buying luxury. And you know, even my antique store, I'm still getting sales. They're not as steady as they used to be, but still, you know, getting some sales that are helping. And I've sold some pretty big items too. So there's still some money out there despite the state of things. So if you're considering opening up either a handmade shop or a resale shop online, whether it be on eBay or Etsy, now's the time to do it, because if you get everything set up and you start, you know, learning and going through trial and error now, whenever people's stimulus checks start coming in or people's jobs return and they're ready to spend money again, then you're already a pro and you have everything already set up and you're ready for money to start rolling in. Anyway, I'm about to be at the post office. So the bag that I sold, the design was called Gucci-sima, which is a pattern where you see the GG with the connecting lines in an all-over pattern. Usually they make sorts of items with this pattern, like wallets, clutches, huge tote bags like the one I sold, tons of other different size bags, designs, bags. So yeah, this just seems like, I don't know why they make outlet specific items. They're not a very outlet type brand. Like they have an outlet in San Marcos, which is like 45 minutes to an hour out of Boston, and people travel from all over to go to this outlet. They do have some, I mean, all the designs that I saw that when I was there for Christmas, just to check things out, I didn't see any designs that I haven't seen on their website. So it didn't seem to me like there was a ton of outlet specific items there. So I don't know where these Gucci-sima items come from really, because I didn't really see those at the store. So who knows where this lady got it or where they come from really, but they're all over the place. As soon as I found out what to call the pattern on the bag, you see them trying to be resold everywhere, and they're usually a lot cheaper than their typical flagship store online items. But I really can't argue with the kind of profit that I made for it. And yeah, $300 is kind of a lot to gamble on, especially for your first bag that you don't really know much about. And it wasn't even my style, so even if I had to just eat that $300 and keep the bag, I don't even know that I really would have used it, because I just don't. It's such a huge bag, and myself, I'm moving more away from carrying larger bags, and I like the smaller ones. If I'm carrying something larger, it's because I'm carrying my camera gear and I don't want to carry a whole backpack. I just want to have like a bag small enough to carry my camera, one basic lens, maybe a flash. Rarely a flash, but maybe. Anyway, I digress. So no matter what you're selling, no matter what you intend on trying to get into flipping, whether it be designer bags, clothing, antiques like I do, there is a little bit of an investment up front. That being said, when I started with antiques, I didn't know a ton either. I've been doing it. This summer will be 3 years that my partner and I have had our antique store. And I started with basically like $130 investment, I think, all in all. I started with that. Really, it began, I got the idea to do it just because I had been collecting like junk, just stuff that I thought that looked cool that I got from thrift shops or found near dumpsters, and just started like putting it all over my walls. Well, then I got a couple of items handed down to me that I didn't really have a use for, and I sold them on eBay the same day, and I figured, I can do this. And so I started with items that were easily affordable to me when I decided to make the investment, and the more they sold, the more profit I made, the more I was able to reinvest it back. So my point is, no matter what you start, even if you're hand making stuff, you're gonna have to put some money into materials, set some money aside for marketing. I did not promote or sponsor my eBay listing. I think that's worth mentioning. I did not pay to promote it or anything. I wasn't so desperate that I wanted to spend any extra money to put this in front of people's faces. I just let it sit there on eBay, and if I woke up one day and it sold, then I was happy with that. But instead, I woke up 2 months later and someone had made an offer for $650, which is my bottom line on it, and I accepted it, and they paid like half an hour later. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So I guess the takeaway from this is probably the safest place to find secondhand luxury items that you want to get into selling. Estate sales, but even then you should know what you're looking for. You should know roughly how to authenticate something before really investing in it. But typically with estate sales, they're going through an estate sale company and they know how to authenticate those items, and so they will do that before even listing it. An estate sale company is not going to sell you a fake bag unless, I think you have to mention it. Legally, you cannot sell counterfeit items. It's supposedly a criminal offense. So an estate sale company is not going to do that. Now, I can't promise you a garage sale won't. They probably will, because that's the individual that's doing that. But if they're going through an estate sale company, they have dealt with a lot of luxury bags in their time, and they will either get it authenticated professionally or they know how to do it themselves. So I really was not worried about whether or not this was an authentic Gucci bag. It was just an outlet item, and yeah, it's real leather. It was a metallic copper color, I believe. Anyway, I'm rambling, but yeah, so to get back to what I was talking about, estate sales are a good place to start. There's also a ton of websites that do online auctions, and I'm not talking about eBay. eBay is pretty competitive when it comes to buying. Like if you're trying to get a deal on a luxury bag, you're gonna be up against a lot of people. So you might get lucky, who knows? But there's a lot of buyers out there who are, you know, trying to resell. Maybe they've got an in-person boutique and they can charge a little more. But yeah, there's tons of online auctions, and they're live online auctions. You can sign up. I think you can bid ahead of time too, but they do have. They will tell you when the auction is live, and it goes really fast, and it's really super intuitive. As far as like how quickly the bidding process is, and tracking who's got the highest bid and all that stuff. It's pretty exciting. Be careful, because you will be, just like any other auction, you will be tempted to bid money that you don't want to spend. So my advice would just be to look at the lots a few days ahead of time and pick out some of your favorite things and keep your eyes on those, and just pray that someone doesn't want it more than you do. But yeah, that is my journey selling my first luxury bag.